Okay, so today we're going to do Chapter 3, Lesson 3, Direct Variation. And direct variation is an equation in the form of y equals mx. Two variables, y and x. The third variable would be m, except for we're going to have a number for m. So it's always going to have y and x. M is going to be our slope. It's also known as our constant of proportionality, or our constant rate of change. Because we have direct variation, we know it's going to go through the origin. We talked about this previously. Y equals mx goes through the origin. Y equals mx plus b, now that is where your line would start up or down on the y-axis. Y equals mx goes through the origin and it therefore is proportional. Okay, so it has a constant rate of change, the slope, and it is also going to have a constant of proportionality because it goes through the origin. So if we were looking at an equation in y equals mx plus b, y equals mx form, say here, we have an advertising. The number of vehicle a dealership sells varies directly with the money spent on advertising. How many vehicles does the dealership sell for each $1,000 of advertising? Well, if we could see clearly, and I'll make this bigger so you can see, we need to know what the value of y is here at x. But that's not a good point. So it's not real easy to see. But this point right here, now that's a good point. So we can see that this point right here, which would be 5 and 40, that's a point on the line. So we're going to use that information to help us out. So this is x, remember? See x, and this is y. So this is going to be the point 540. Remember, if I write that properly, remember in an ordered pair, it's x and y. So x is always first. So if this is 5 and 40, and our equation is y equals mx, then we're able to replace y with 40, and we're able to replace x with 5, and then we can find out what m is. Okay, so by using x and y, we can find out m. So here, this is a multiplication, so we are going to divide. And m is going to equal 40 divided by 5 is 8. Okay, so now we know what m is. We're going to go into our equation, y equals mx. That's our standard form equation, y equals mx. And now we are going to replace the m, this time with the value of m. The value of m is 8. So we have y equals 8x. That is our direct variation equation. So now we want to know for every $1,000 in advertising. So these are in thousands. So we are going to find out if x is 1, what's the value of y? So we are going to say y equals 8 times 1, because we're going to put in that 1,000. We're going to find out that y equals 8. So for every $1,000 worth of advertising money spent, they will sell approximately 8 cars. Okay, so we're able to use this information in a business setting. So when people say, what use is this information or this math, this is what we use it for. Okay, let's try another one. Here we have it says solar energy. The power absorbed by a solar panel varies directly with its area. If the area, okay, first of all, it varies directly. So we know y equals mx. It varies directly. It said so. If an 8 square meter panel absorbs 8,160 watts of power, how much power does a 12-meter solar panel absorb? So we've been told we have 8 and 8,160. We're going to use that information to find out. Now we want to know what 12 is. We got 12. What's this when x is 12? So again, y equals mx. X is 8. Y is 8,160. We're going to divide by 8. And we're going to find out that m equals 8 goes into 8 once, 8 goes into 1, 0, 8 goes into 16, 2, and 8 goes into 0. So m equals 1,020. So y equals, we would change this. This would now be 1020. So y equals 1020, and we're going to multiply that times 12. And when we take 1,020, 1020, and we multiply that times 12, because that's what x is, we're going to find out the answer is 12,240. So the value of the amount of wattage we're going to get from a 12 square meter panel is going to be 12,240 watts of power. Okay, again, another good use of the math that we're learning. You ever going to use it? I don't know what you're going to be when you grow up. Okay, there's another thing you're going to be asked to do today, and that's going to be to look and determine whether a linear function is direct variation. And if so, state the constant of variation. In other words, what's the slope? Remember, the constant of variation is going to be equal to the slope. So there's a couple ways of doing this. I'm going to do the first one one way, and then I'll do the second one a different way. So here you have a table. It's been given to you horizontally instead of vertically, but the y's are on bottom. So we know we don't have to find the slope, because the slope, we know it's linear. They told us it was linear. Right there they said linear function. We want to know if it's proportional. To know if it's proportional, we're going to make fractions. We're going to take 28 divided by 3, 40 divided by 6, 52 divided by 9, and 64 divided by 12. If these fractions are all equal to each other, then we know we have a proportional line. So we start with the first one. 28 divided by 3 equals 9.33 repeating. So this would be 9.3 repeating. Now we're going to go 40 divided by 6. 40 divided by 6 is 6.6 repeating. So this is 6.6 repeating. These two are not equal to each other. And since they're not equal to each other, this is not proportional. Okay, there is no constant of proportionality because they are not proportional. So what you need to do is find out what these constants are, and then if there's proportionality, then what's the constant of proportionality? And if they're not proportional, then you're going to just go and see whether or not, okay, if they're not proportional, then there's no constant of proportionality. If they are proportional, then the constant of proportionality would also be the slope. All right, let's take a look at another one. I said I'd show you a different way. Okay, so here we see a change. This is a change of 5, 10, 15, 20. This is plus 5. Here we have 95 to 190, 190 to 285, 285 to 380. This is a change of plus 95. So we have 95 over 5. Okay. So that, if this is proportional, that would be our slope. We divide and find it out. It would be 19. So to finish this off, we're going to go down to 0. Because if it goes through 0, 0, remember, it will be proportional. So we said that this was plus 5 and this is plus 95. So 20 minus 5, 15, minus 5, 10, minus 5, 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. So we're at 0 here. 385 minus 95 is 285, minus 95 is 190. 190 minus 95 is 95, and 95 minus 95 is 0. So if we went backwards 0, 0, we would find out that if x equals 0, y in fact does equal 0. This is proportional. And the constant of proportionality would be 95 over 5, which would be 19 over 1. Okay, you don't want to do that? Go back to the original thing we said. 95 divided by 5. 190 divided by 10. 285 divided by 15. And 380 divided by 20. And if you put these into the calculator, you would find out that let's see, 95 divided by 5 is 19. 190 divided by 10, 19. 285 divided by 15 is 19. 380 divided by 20 equals 19. So these all gave us an answer of 19. These are all equal to each other, and therefore, again, another way of seeing that they are proportional. You can choose. Okay, let's see. If we did this, 10, 20, 30, 40, it's going up plus 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, that's going up plus 2. We went down. 2 minus 2 would be 0, so that would be there. 10 minus 10 would be 0. This goes through 0, 0. This is also proportional. And then you would take the y's over x's, so 10 divided by 2. This would be 5 over 1. This would be your C. This is your slope. This is your constant rate of change. This is also your proportionality. What is it? Constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality. Okay, it's all those things. They're all the same. So you just have to figure out what exactly you're looking for. So once we know that it goes through 0, 0, we know that we have a constant of proportionality, which is the same as the constant rate of change, which is the same as the slope. Okay, one more time. You might be asked instead to algebraically determine whether or not, so here you're asked, if y varies directly with x, write an equation for the direct variation, then find the value. So y equals mx. We start here. Okay, just like we did on the other one. We have a point. If y equals negative 5 when x equals 2. So this would be 2, negative 5. Find y when x equals 8. Find y when x equals 8. So we're going to use this information in this equation. So y equals mx. So this would be 2 and negative 5. Divide by 2. And your equation is going to be, since this is m equals negative 5 over 2, your equation is going to be y equals negative 5 over 2x. This is the equation. Using this equation, plug 8 in for x. Y equals negative 5 over 2 times 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20, so our answer would be negative 20. So two answers, the value of y and the equation. Okay? Now, what if instead of finding y, I'm going to skip down here to this question, find x. So this time we've got find x when y equals, okay, find x when y equals 18. So find x when y equals 18 if y equals 5 when x equals 4. Just make sure you're putting them in the right order. So again, y equals mx. We're going to use this equation, which is 5 equals mx. We're going to divide by 4, and m equals 5 over 4. Your equation, y equals 5 over 4x. That's your equation. That's the first thing you were asked to do. Now you're going to have to go in here and find x when y equals 18. Well, they're not giving you this one. They're giving you this one. So this time you're going to say 18 equals 5 over 4x. Now we go back to our first lesson of chapter 2. We have to get rid of this fraction by multiplying by the multiplicative inverse, which would be 4 over 5. Cancel, 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 x equals. We're going to take 4 times 18 and divide the answer by 5. So 4 times 18 divided by 5, and that's going to give you 4.4. Or sorry, 14.4. So you could do 14.4. You could get 4 times 18 is 72 over 5. 70 divided by 5 is 14. So this would be 14 and 4/5. So if you want to leave it as a fraction or a decimal, I don't care. 14.4. Okay, so whether you're finding it, x or y, you have to use the values they give you for x and y to find m, and then plug it in and find whichever letter you're missing. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Good luck with your homework, and I'll see you tomorrow.